Women's lib, my dear Sally, is merely a fad which ranks somewhere between hula hoops and streaking. As Mr. Darwin observed in his Origin of Species, male superiority is the natural order of things. It is the male who fearlessly defends the hearth, the male who tirelessly provides for the needs of his family.
Are you sure that Darwin said that? Sounds more like McMillan to me.
Now here, we have a perfect example. Notice the manner in which this enterprising fellow hustles a living for his family. Notice also the helpless female, totally dependent upon her mate, and who lies there like a klutz. Not only do we have an example here of total dependence, but just plain out-and-out laziness.
Mac, I don't want to say anything, but your theory is a little cockeyed. You see, the bear that's putting on the show, that's the girl bear. The other bear, the one that's so lazy up there, is one of your people.
Nice try.
How much do you want to bet?
I believe she's serious.
How much?
I hate to do this, Sally. It's like taking candy from a baby. Name it.
All right. The loser makes dinner tonight. 4-star service and no help from Mildred.
Done. Now, I think tonight I'd like to have prime rib for dinner. I think that would be nice, perhaps. First, a nice dry martini, chilled to perfection.
Hey, no peanuts.
Pardon me, sir.
Samson and Delilah.
Well, we were just sort of wondering which one was which.
Oh, well, this one here is Delilah, and that one back there is Samson, the laziest bum on 4 legs.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I gave the bride away.
Well, you can always take it up with Darwin. After dinner. For dinner, let's see. I think I'll have a Stilton cheese souffle. Just a moment. Thank you. I think I'd like something nice and long and cool before you get started.
You'll get ice water.
Oh, it's you. I was hoping it was mice, and then I could go back to sleep.
You can, Mildred, because you've got the night off.
Night off? What am I going to do with the night off?
Well, go to sleep. That's what you wanted, isn't it?
Well, I mean, if I have the night off, I feel sort of obligated to do something with it, like, well, you know, go to my sister's and be miserable. You just can't waste a night off.
I'm sorry, Mildred.
Oh, everything's a dilemma. By the way, what's the occasion?
Oh, maybe he can explain it to you.
Apple juice.
Thank you.
Hey, why do I have to go to my sister's tonight?
You're free as a bird, Mildred. Count your blessings.
The commissioner has graciously insisted upon making dinner this evening.
Oh, another one of those dumb bets. And you lost again, huh?
Good night, Mildred.
I always heard you were very bright down at headquarters. How come you, keep losing all these bets?
Good night, Mildred.
Gonna make dinner again, huh?
Good night, Mildred.
Listen, are you sure you don't want me to hang around? I mean, you didn't win much with Chef Pierre in there, you know.
It's the thought that counts. I'm gonna enjoy every minute of it.
Okay. Better get myself changed and get out of here. What are you gonna make, Commissioner?
Souffle.
Oh, from burnt toast to a souffle. That takes guts.
Mac, you know, I think some of those nice little pizza hors d'oeuvres would go very well right now. How's it going, Mac?
Just great. Dinner will be ready in just a few minutes.
I simply can't understand the problem, Mac. I asked for a simple Stilton cheese souffle with sautéed mushrooms, and you make it such a problem. Whatever happened to that famous male superiority? Mac, the door. Hi.
I'm looking for Mr. McMillan. I have a message for him.
He's real busy right now. I'm Mrs. McMillan. Can I help you?
I have to deliver the message in person.
Oh, come on in. Mac, there's somebody here to see you.
What is it?
Mr. McMillan?
Yes?
Could I see some identification, please? He doth raise his country's fame with his own, and in the mouths of nations yet unborn, his praises shall be sung. Death comes to all, but great achievements raise a monument which shall endure until the sun grows cold.
Georgius Fabricius.
Terrace and Fifth, 9:30.
Well, that's a terrific act, fellas.
Son, who sent you?
I don't know, a man.
What did he look like?
Well, I couldn't see much of his face. He had on dark glasses and a hat.
All right.
I didn't do anything wrong.
No.
Give me $10 to say that. That's all I know.
You are.
Bye.
Mac, what was that? You look like you've just seen a ghost.
I just heard from one. Dinner's ready.
Well, that was some kind of a crazy message, wasn't it, Mac?
Code. Haven't heard that word since I was with intelligence.
What did the part mean about, Georgius, what's his name?
Georgius Fabricius.
Yeah.
Countersign. Message was part of a eulogy written in 1550.
You mean one of your agency buddies is trying to get in touch with you?
Dwight Carmichael.
Well, that's kind of exciting, isn't it, Mac?
Yeah. Kind of weird, too. He's been dead for 30 years.
It is odd, sir. You get a message from a stranger to meet you here. He turns up dead, and there is not a scrap of identification.
That's right.
Well, it must have been important. I wonder what it was he wanted to tell you.
He said it was important. That's why I came.
Well, there must be something that we can go on, sir.
I have never seen that face before in my life.
Are you sure? That you don't remember
Just
him?
take my word for it.
Well, I'm only trying to help you. Well, it is weird, isn't it? I wonder what it was that he wanted.
I wish I knew.
Maybe it wasn't Carmichael.
Oh, it was Carmichael, all right. Even with that face job, you couldn't mistake that scar on his arm. Burned in an air crash in Dresden.
Mac, what had made you think he was dead?
We worked together. He disappeared on a mission. A couple of months later, we heard he was dead. The source was solid, stone cold dead. Only he wasn't dead. Not until tonight. Now, how do I put that in an official report without breaching national security? Poor Enright asked me a couple of perfectly logical questions, and I almost bit his head off.
Mac, you're not in intelligence anymore. Why do you have to keep Carmichael a secret?
Because he was still a part of it. That's why he was working undercover. He had something to tell me, something about business, only he didn't get to tell me, and that's what makes it a problem. A security problem.
Why can't you just call someone in Washington?
Oh, sure, I could call Washington, but I'm not going to. He had something to tell me. Something to tell me and nobody else. When I find out what that is, then I'll call Washington. He's a good guy. I like that guy. I owe him something.
Where are you going to begin? He's a man who's got no face. He's got no identification.
This is all I've got. So I'll begin with this. I'm all alone in this, Sally. I may have to ask your help. Will you help me?
Always.
That's it?
That's it.
I'll tell you something. I think you need a chemistry professor, or better still, a clairvoyant for this job.
Could it be a Balkan mixture? That's what he always used.
Oh, sure. It's a Balkan mixture. It looks like a Balkan mixture. But which Balkan mixture? There must be 95 of them.
95, that's all? Gee, that's not bad, is it, Mac?
No, that's very encouraging.
Wait a minute. I think I know somebody that can help you. Did you ever hear of Rico Martinez?
Rico Martinez, the guitarist?
His father was a Cuban tobacconist. Rico is fantastic. He knows everything there is to know.
Sold. I'll look him up.
Mac.
Hmm?
What do you think?
Yeah, it does wonders for you.
Not for me, for you. On the other hand, you may be right.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Come, Sally.
Thank you. And may I know my audience?
My name is McMillan, Senor Martinez. I wonder if I could talk to you for a moment.
Of course. Commissioner McMillan, isn't it?
That's right.
And your companion.
Mrs. McMillan, Senor Martinez.
Nice to meet you, Mrs.
That was
McMillan.
beautiful.
Thank you very much. And how can I help you, Commissioner?
Senor Martinez, I understand you're an expert on tobacco.
Well, of sorts.
I wonder if you could help me with this.
Balkan. It's a unique mixture. The man who smokes this is most discriminating.
He is, yes.
It's called Duvan Chateri, which is nothing more than Serbian for mixture number 3. Very rare in these parts. The only shop that may carry it is Selwyn's on Cable Street.
Well, that's what it looks like, but it's the only one I've got left. I was just about to mail it out to a customer.
Is this your customer? Is it him?
I think so. What's he doing on the ground like that?
Just, sleeping it off. I'd like his address, please.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't give out that information.
Right.
Here it is. Carl Reese, 385 Marlborough Street.
Thank you very much.
He wasn't really asleep, was he?
No. Here we are. Carl Reese, apartment B.
Suppose nobody answers, Mac.
Well, maybe Mrs. Goodbody will.
Who's Mrs. Goodbody?
The manager.
Oh, the manageress.
Right. Good old Mrs. Goodbody.
I don't do this for everybody. Next time it's gonna take a warrant. I don't care who you are. I'm not even sure this key fits.
Well, I certainly hate to inconvenience you, Mrs. Goodbody, but perhaps $10 more would help.
Everything helps. Don't take anything, or else I'll have to call the police. Don't take anything.
Well, now, shall we?
Just don't take anything. Did you find anything?
I'm not sure.
What are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Carl Reese.
My goodness. Very good. I've got Greece, Turkey, Hong Kong, Spain, Malta, etc., etc. I'd say someone was planning a trip somewhere.
Any place.
Plus, turn it over.
To Carl, love, Laura.
Well, we've got something to go on. Can't say you did too much for this jacket.
Mrs. Goodbody didn't say anything about tearing clothes up. Yeah, it's something. Laura could be 3,000 miles away.
Look at this.
Can you make that out?
Dishwasher. Dishwasher. Maybe it's elephant. I don't know. If Carmichael bought this, he didn't buy it for himself. At a boutique?
Laura.
Laura.
Let's go.
Ah, Mrs. Goodbody.
I'm not sure what it says. It looks like a elephant
Or dishwasher.
or dishwasher. I better check the number.
Mac, what do you think of these? For after the baby, naturally.
I like them. Practical, too. Bulletproof.
I found it. One leather carryall, $46.50, and that was yesterday.
Who wrote it up?
Looks like BC. Must have been Bonnie.
Could I talk to her?
Oh, she's off today.
Oh. Free initials. Do you keep records on these?
Oh, you mean on this one? I think we do. Let me check.
Well, that was very good.
Not necessarily. There's no law that says you have to have initials put on them.
The thing is, not everybody bothers with initials. You're in luck. Silver initials, LR.
Two leads, Mac.
Laura R. Plus the very strong possibility that she and Carmichael were going to be traveling together.
Carry-all bag, right?
Which gives us the passport office to check. Come on.
There could be another lead. Laura R. could mean that she's married to Carl Reese.
Very good. That means we have a lot to cover this afternoon.
We could split up.
No way. You need a badge at the passport office and a badge at the Bureau of Records.
Right.
This is Commissioner McMillan. Let me have Sergeant Enright.
Excuse me, is this new passport? I think it's right over here.
No, this is my first trip out of the country, and I just can't believe it. Look, I've been studying French for 3 weeks, and I don't remember a word. Oh, maybe I'll see you over there. Where are you going?
We don't know yet.
Oh, well, have a wonderful trip.
Sorry to hold you up, Commissioner. We don't have anything on a Laura Reese. Got a few other Lauras for you, though.
Looks like we're out of luck.
Are you sure the application was filed here, Commissioner?
I'm not even sure the application was filled out.
Hi, Sergeant.
What did you find out?
Oh, nothing very much, sir, I'm afraid. If Carl and Laura Reese were married, it couldn't have happened in San Francisco. There's nothing on file at the Bureau of Records.
What is it?
Huh? Oh, it's nothing much, sir. It's just that when I pulled up here, I saw some guy sniffing around your car. Well, at first I thought maybe he was going to try and grab it, but then he got into his own car and drove off.
Get a good look at him?
No, not too good.
Is he wearing a green alpine hat and driving a rust-colored sedan?
Yes, sir, that's the guy. Well, who is he?
I don't know, but he's been following us for a couple of hours.
You didn't tell me that.
Did you get his license?
Yes, sir.
Good.
May I ask the commissioner something?
You mean, what's it all about?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's a little complicated and definitely not for publication.
I understand, sir.
Carl Reese was the man who was murdered last night. I knew him years ago under another name.
Well, shouldn't that go in the report, sir? I mean, we don't have a single lead.
It's definitely a security problem. He worked for the government.
Oh. Well, do you want me to check out the license?
That's probably a John Doe rental, but yes, I guess you better check it out.
Right. By the way, Commissioner, you better get going.
Why?
Well, I don't know for sure, but it was on your calendar. Some sort of christening.
Oh, the ship! We're supposed to christen it. Sergeant, we gotta christen the ship.
I christen thee number 7384.
That was a fine launching, Mrs. McMillan.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I don't believe it. Walt Harmon.
Damn it, Mac, it is good to see you. I figured you'd be in some Albanian prison somewhere or a villa on the Riviera by now.
On government pay. You look like you've done all right for yourself, Commissioner.
Well, we're all both in the same business, public service. Sally, I'd like you to meet a very old friend, Walt Harmon.
How do you do?
You're very beautiful, Mrs. McMillan. And very lucky.
Thank you.
This is a little off the beaten path for you, isn't it, Walt? What brings your body to San Francisco?
Just passing through.
Is that yours?
He's a good man. He worries a little about the crease in his trousers, but he's a good man.
Would it be indiscreet of me to suggest that you two had worked together at one time?
That's a reasonable suggestion, Mrs. McMillan.
Call me Sally.
Walt used to be my boss.
Oh.
You got a minute, Mac?
Hey, take your time. I'll wait in the car. Nice to meet you all.
Tell you the truth, Mac, I've been in San Francisco for a couple of months, so I really couldn't contact you.
And shouldn't now.
No.
That important, huh?
It is.
Carmichael?
Yeah, Carmichael. Mac, I'm going to ask you to lay off.
Where do you fit in?
What difference does that make?
All the difference in the world.
It's a powder keg, Mac. The agency could get hurt.
So could my department if I don't do something about his murder. Now, Walt, tell me what you know.
Well, I know he contacted you. I know you found him dead. I don't know who did it. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
I need more than that.
Mac, you've been around the dirty tricks business. You're a veteran. You know, certain things have to stay in the can.
Murder is not one of them. Not around here.
It's pretty high-toned.
It's part of my job. Now, Walt, look. If I didn't think I was involved in a security situation, I wouldn't feel as if I had to keep this investigation low-key. Now, as police commissioner of San Francisco, I have to walk a very, very thin line.
All right. All right, I'll give you everything I've got, starting back in '64, when Carmichael slipped into East Europe, got himself grabbed, and didn't have the good grace to bite into that tiny cyanide cure. Fact is, over the next couple of years, he got less and less graceful. And you really couldn't blame him. A prison cell the size of a toilet will do that for you, especially when you know you're settled in it for life. So,
sold out.
An agent never sells out. You know that, Mac. He simply exercises his survival flexibilities.
Which accounts for the plastic job.
And they give him a new face, a new name, and a new job.
Right here.
Exactly. Now they have a floater here who can operate with perfect impunity. An ex-agent whose face couldn't be recognized by our people in a million years.
Maybe you recognized him.
And had him killed. Hey, that's pretty good. You haven't lost your touch, Mac. That's a good scenario. It holds. Except it didn't happen that way. Carmichael came to me, gave me some background, said he'd be back in a couple of days with a proposition. Maybe that's where you fit in, Mac. Maybe he figured on you to play broker.
You knew he contacted me. You also knew he was killed. That means you had a tail on him. I'm just wondering if you had the same man on me today. Stamped out model like your boy over there, only with an alpine hat with a feather in it.
Mac, not one of mine.
Okay, well. You're not finished, are you?
Oh, did I leave something out?
Oh, I was just wondering how much you knew about that girl.
Laura?
Laura.
Oh. Well, I know as much about the girl as you do, Mac, which is nothing. Except she could be in trouble.
Why?
She was Carmichael's lady friend. Carmichael's dead. What's it going to be, Mac?
I can't drop it.
You are stubborn, Mac. You always was stubborn, you know that? Only, hey, don't let it get you in over your head,
How?
You got a job to do? Okay, do it. But keep it low-key.
Make it sound like an order.
All the way from Washington, Mac. People back there are going to be embarrassed about Carmichael. They get embarrassed enough, there's going to be some sound, there's going to be some fury. I wouldn't want you to lose your job, Commissioner.
Is that a threat?
No, no, no. It's just advice. Don't leave, you really need me.
Yes?
Yes, I wonder if I could speak with Laura Rice.
She passed away 2 days ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She was 86 years old, and she'd had a good life. Are you one of her girls?
Beg your pardon?
One of her girls from the Unwed Mothers League. Mrs. Rice was the president.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, I must have the wrong person. Thank you.
Well, there's nothing to be ashamed of, young lady. We're here if you need us.
Does Laura Ricketts work here? Laura, somebody wants to see you. Coming. She'll be right out. Thank you. You wanted to see me? Yes, could I have a cup of coffee, please?
2 minuti.
Okay.
I must have covered 50 miles today, up and down the hills. Do you know what I am becoming? An expert on Lauras. Tall Lauras, short Lauras, fat Lauras, thin Lauras, little Lauras, big Lauras, Lauras that are married, Lauras that are divorced, and Lauras that are living in sin. I covered the telephone book, the welfare list, the voter registration. I'm out of Lauras, Mac. How did you do?
Nothing. Never left the office. Today was bureaucracy's finest hour.
What about the unlisted phone numbers?
Enright checked them out. Not a thing.
What about that license plate, the man with the hat?
Dead end. Turned out to be a John Doe rental after all. He dumped the car 20 minutes after Enright spotted him.
Maybe that man with the hat doesn't work for Walt Harmon.
He works for Walt, all right. Walt was chief of my unit for 5 years. We went through hell and high water together. I know how he works. If the situation were reversed, I'd do the same thing. I'd put a tail on him.
Well, I'm not going to think about it anymore. Here comes dinner, and I'm starving. Does that smell good?
Enjoy.
Grazie.
You don't.
No, go ahead.
No, go on.
Go on, go on, go on.
I hate to disturb you, Commissioner, but they said it's important.
Yes. What? No. I haven't. Right. Yeah, I'll be right over.
What was that?
Laura?
Our Laura?
Our Laura. She wants to see me now.
You're kidding. How did she find you?
Called home. Mildred told her we were here. Senora, look, you go ahead and finish. There's no reason for both of us to go over there.
Mac,
I'll see you at home.
Mac, I'm an expert on Laura, remember?
Senora, it breaks
Yeah?
my heart, but we have to leave.
Oh. Ernestina, do you have a doggy bag for linguine?
Looks like Harmon's called off his dogs. Sally.
It's so good, I hate to throw it away.
Stay down. Stay back.
Why would anyone try to kill me? I don't understand.
I don't either. That's what I'm going to find out. Why did you call me, Laura?
Well, it sounds crazy now, but... A friend gave me your number and told me that if I didn't hear from him in 24 hours, I should call you.
Carl Reese.
Yes.
Go on.
Well, it sounded mysterious and silly at first. I thought he was joking. But then I didn't hear from him, and I got worried, so I called you. And then this happened, and, well, now I don't know what's going on.
What is happening? Is Carl in some sort of trouble with the police?
No, Laura. Carl's dead.
No. No. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm sorry.
I know this isn't the right time, Laura, but I have to ask you some questions.
I think I'll get you a glass of water.
You see, Laura, Carl was murdered.
Murdered? That must be why he gave me your phone number. He must have known he was in danger.
What do you know about him, Laura?
He was quiet. He stayed to himself. He didn't bother anyone. Why would anyone hurt him? Why would anyone want to hurt me?
Did he ever talk about his work?
Not very much. I knew it had something to do with insurance. Insurance investigating, I think.
Did he ever mention which company?
No. Oh, I think maybe he did once, but I didn't pay any attention. The home office was back east somewhere. That's why he could work out of his apartment here.
How long was he here in San Francisco?
Only a few months. We met when he first came out here.
And you were going to be married. You were going abroad. Where, Laura?
We weren't sure. We talked about it dozens of places. We were like a couple of kids. Everything had such a special excitement about it. It was wonderful.
What were his plans? How were you going to live?
He'd, come into some money. An uncle, I think. But that wasn't the truth, was it? He didn't tell me everything, did he?
No.
Will you tell me? Please tell me.
Carl worked with the government. That's all I can tell you. All set?
Yes, sir.
Laura, I want you to move out of here for a few days. I don't think anybody will bother you again, but I'd rather be on the safe side.
If you think it's better.
I'd feel better. Now, if you want to go anywhere, if you want to go shopping, to work, anywhere, I'll have somebody along with you to keep an eye on you.
Better put some things in the bag, I guess.
If there's anything you need now, Sergeant N right here, we'll get it for you.
Thank you.
And if there's anything that I can do, you just call me.
Thank you. Commissioner, I almost forgot. Wait. That's for you.
From Carl?
Yes, he said if I had to call you, I should give you that. But he didn't say anything else. What could it be for?
I don't know. Probably nothing very important. Now, Sergeant, I want you to take good care of Miss... Laura, what is your last name?
Rainey.
Rainey.
There wasn't any Laura Rainey in the telephone book.
It's not listed in the phone book. Not under my name, anyway. It's listed under Miller. I sublet this apartment.
Oh, it's you.
What did you expect?
Well, burglars, if it wasn't you.
Did we get any calls, Mildred?
Yeah, my sister. Do you want to hear about it, or do you have something else to do this evening?
Pretend you're paying for a telegram.
Okay. Let's see. She has the gout. Stop. She's very happy. Stop. She hears that only rich people get the gout. Stop. Love, Mildred.
Stop.
How was dinner tonight?
Well, have you got anything in the kitchen?
You hungry? Where do you get off being hungry?
Well, it's just not the same when you eat out of a container.
You eat $9 worth of linguine and you're hungry?
You know, sometimes you two sound exactly like my sister. I'll just go put a couple of cans of water in the soup. Oh, anybody want a melted cheese sandwich?
Fine.
I don't have any cheese.
You know, he made it tough. This key is a duplicate. Not a single identification mark.
Well, I don't know how Carmichael ever expected you to figure out what it's for.
Oh, I know what it's for.
What?
Key to a safety deposit box. There must be at least 25,000 of them in this city alone.
Why do spies always work in riddles? Why couldn't Carmichael have just told Laura what bank he wanted you to go to?
Didn't want her to know, probably. Didn't want her to get involved.
Well, I feel sorry for Laura. She's so confused, Mac.
He was playing good odds, Sally. If the key somehow got into somebody else's hands, whatever is in the safety deposit box would remain safe.
I see what you mean. Not just anybody can open up a safety deposit box.
Commissioner of Police can.
Now, there's an officer right outside the door if you need anything. Are you all right, Miss Rainey?
Yes. Fine, thank you. It's funny, isn't it? How people say they're fine even when the world is falling apart around them. What am I doing here anyway? Why is this all happening? It's so confusing.
Well, it settles. It always settles. People pick up and they start again, and then it's behind them.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Good night.
Good night. Sergeant, would it be all right if I used the telephone? A friend of mine may be trying to call me at my place, and I'm afraid she'll be worried.
You use that phone as much as you like. This is your home for a few days.
You're very kind.
Good night.
Hello. It's me. No. No, they've moved me for a few days. The new number is 555-5933. No. No problem. Everything went beautifully. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
No. R-E-I-S-S. Reese. Carl Reese. Nothing? All right, thank you.
Hi, Maggie.
Hello.
Hey, is he in?
He's in, all right. He's been on the phone for hours.
Oh, he's still on the phone. That's a bad sign.
I beg your pardon?
Never mind. I think I'll just go in and see him.
I see. Well, thank you very much.
Any luck?
No luck. I ran out of banks.
Is it possible that Carmichael used his own name instead of the name Carl Reese?
I tried that.
Oh. Maybe he used another name. How about that name, that code name the little boy told us about the other
Georges
night?
Fabricius?
Right.
Hey, you're getting very good. You know that? I tried that, too.
Oh.
There's something missing. Hello, Miss Layton? Yes, this is Commissioner McMillan again. I have another name for you. You're right. Stuart McMillan.
If you need anything else, Commissioner, please let me know.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
you expecting?
Well, I don't know, $1 million, diamonds, something. Keystone.
Keystone.
What is that? Is that somebody's name? Somebody you know?
No, it's not anybody's name. It's agency jargon. Keystone means #2 man of the unit.
Ah, that's great. It could be any unit anywhere.
Walt Harmon's unit.
You mean to tell me that the killer is in Walt Harmon's unit? And he doesn't even know it?
That's it. Looks like Walt's gonna have to work with me after all, whether he likes it or not.
Well, that's not very likely after the meeting you had with him.
He hasn't got any choice. I have something he needs, and he's not gonna get it until I get the cooperation I need. It's as simple as that.
Magnificent, isn't it? All the drama, mystery of life in that fading light. Easy does it. There we go. Well, Mac, what do you think of my bureaucratic image these days, eh?
Yeah, it looks like your cover is finally caught up with your personal lifestyle.
The boys in the accounting office won't like it, but then we never did get along. Sally, won't you please sit down? I'm going to mix us something to drink. What would you like?
Something soft.
Something soft. How about orange juice, eh?
That'd be great.
What about you, Mac?
Oh, the usual.
Usual. That would be a martini, yeah?
Aha.
I know I don't have to tell you this, Mac. It's a funny thing. People attach a certain glamour to this business. Pretty soon, though, the glamour fades and it becomes just a tough job with an element of risk. And after a while, you get used to that. And then you discover that wonder of wonders, you're thoroughly jaded. You realize there isn't a single decent human being on the face of this earth. Except maybe the guy next to you when you need him. The next thing you know, 20 years go by, and you make another discovery. You're a professional schizophrenic. You start dividing yourself into reality and fantasy. And reality is what you've come to accept as life. Fantasy is what you suddenly long to escape to. And you know what it is you want to escape to? What everybody else calls normal. More than anything else in the world, you want to be normal. Because it finally hits you that you're lonely.
Thank you.
Nostrovia.
Cheers.
Well, Mac, I know you didn't come down here with the sunset, and I don't think we're hiding anything from Sally now, so tell me, what's on your mind, huh?
Straight?
Yeah, sure, straight.
You've been holding out on me, Walt.
Oh?
I knew it the other day, but that was your prerogative then. You didn't need me.
But that's changed.
That's changed.
You must hold an interesting hand.
I've got the cards.
Such as?
Such as I know that Carmichael was killed by one of your people.
That's very good, Mac. But then you were always good at that sort of thing. How do I know you're not bluffing?
We've withheld information from each other, Walt, but we've never lied to each other.
All right.
I'll make a deal with you. But you have to promise me one thing first. You help me bring in the killer.
You got it.
All right. Let's start with Carmichael.
Well, he came to me with a deal. About on par with your deal, Mac. There he was all of a sudden. Many years dead and buried Carmichael, standing there with that crazy Carl Reese face, telling me he was an enemy agent these days. Been drilling holes in the homeland for the past 6.5 years. But now he wanted out of it. He was through taking sides, and he thought maybe I could help him. Fix him up with $250,000 and some new ID. And in return, he'd give me a piece of information he picked up from one of his new colleagues. The name of the sleeper in my outfit.
Sleeper?
It's exactly the way it hit me.
Well, what did you say to him?
I told him I needed time, and I did. I don't carry that kind of money around in petty cash. I went through Washington. By the time they got back to me, Carmichael was dead.
Will somebody please explain to me what a sleeper is?
An enemy agent planted in an alien country, long before he starts functioning as an agent.
Happens all the time, Sally. A man emigrates to a new country when he's in his 20s. Becomes a citizen, gets a government job, works his way up. By the time he's 35 or 40, he has access to valuable information.
Oh, that's incredible.
What did Washington decide, by the way?
They approved the deal. You know, Mac, a big chunk of me was rooting for Carmichael. He was a guy caught in the middle, saw a way out. Gotta give him points, Mac. He did see a way out.
Well, he had to see a way out. He was a man that was in love.
But he didn't make it. Somebody killed him. Somebody tried to kill Laura, too, by the way. Well, she's all right. I've got her.
Okay, Mac. It's your turn.
Keystone.
Don't play games with me, Mac.
I'm not.
That's crazy. Where'd you get that?
Looks like Carmichael got to me after all. Let's call it a legacy.
Keystone. I'd have gone along with Santa Claus first. Look, Mac, I'm going to ask you to call off the deal. Let it ride, the whole thing.
I knew you were going to ask that, Walt. I can't do it.
Come on, Mac, come on. Think of what I could do with this situation. I could pull the strings on him.
Sure. He thinks he got away with killing Carmichael and continues to operate as your Keystone. And you just sit back quietly milking out his contacts. But you forgot one thing, Walt. Laura. Keystone thinks she knows too much. He'll keep after her.
Mac, Laura's no problem. We'll wall her up someplace. The East Coast, if you like. I'll pick up the tab.
You can't just shuffle people around like canned goods, Walt. And I can't just write off a murder.
And that's it?
That's it.
All right. I guess I'll have to live with it.
How do we take him?
I'll set something up. Call you.
What's his name?
Cushing.
Cushing?
Yeah, you saw him the other day, but don't let his looks fool you. He's sharp. Not as sharp as my old Keystone, though. I'll bet you didn't know that.
Would you mind taking a taxi home? I have a couple of things I better take care of first.
No, I don't mind. Are you sure you wouldn't like some company?
It's official business. I'll see you later. All right, who are you? What do you want?
for Moby Dick. Oh, it's a boat!
Really?
Hi. Your official business sure didn't take very long.
My official business turned out to be a wild goose chase.
Don't get yourself comfortable. Walt Harmon called.
Oh,
Your meeting is tonight.
Oh.
Mac, I don't like this Cushing. He's got me worried. I didn't like his face from the start.
Well, there won't be any trouble. What time?
9 o'clock at the roller bowl. Now, why would he want to meet you at a roller bowl?
Maybe he likes to skate. Enright? Me. Tell me something. Been roller skating lately?
He's in there now, waiting for me. We've used this place a couple of times for a drop, so he should be pretty tame. I know it's short notice, Mac, but it's better tonight.
Meaning you want to get it over with?
Let's skip the analysis, okay, Mac? I got him here. I'm not going to take him.
I don't want you to. It's my job.
It wasn't you, Mac. But he was somebody to talk to. You know something? He was so stiff, I almost got to like him. I don't like him anymore. He's yours. Watch yourself.
What do you want?
A root beer. How much is it?
Sign's over there.
Well, we'd better put out an APB, sir.
No.
Security again?
Something like that.
You all right?
And I thought you weren't getting involved.
Commissioner, this is the man that saved your life.
Wouldn't be the first time. You better get inside and do some explaining.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, I figured I better come back. He's got this damn sixth sense. Well, I've gone this far, Mac. I'll go the rest of the way. And don't give me any more Boy Scout talk about working together. You don't know where to look. I do. I'll bring him in. But it's got to be my way.
Yes?
Officer Ames, Miss Rainey. Everything all right in there?
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Ames, it must be awfully boring out there. Would you like to come in and play some cards?
Well, I don't know. I shouldn't, really.
It'd be a good way to keep an eye on me.
I guess it is at that.
How do you know anything happened?
I talked to Sergeant Enright. He got away, didn't he?
For the moment.
10 o'clock, and all's well. McMillan residence, Mildred speaking. Yeah, if you'll hold on a minute, I'll see if he's here. We've got a world champion heavy breather on the phone. He wants to talk to you.
Who is it?
I don't know. He didn't breathe his name.
McMillan.
My name's Cushing. I think maybe we better meet and straighten out a couple of things.
Well, I suppose I could. What's the matter with right? Cushing. Wants me to meet him at the airport at 11 o'clock.
Well, you're not going to go.
It could be a trap.
He just tried to kill you at the roller rink.
Cushing is supposed to be sharp. Now, he wouldn't call me out in the open like that. That's amateur night.
Why else would he call you? What could he be trying to tell you?
Unless he's trying to distract me.
Distract you from what?
Laura.
Well, this is ridiculous. She's got to be there, Mac.
Anybody for a three-handed game of poker? Well, what about a one-handed game of poker, beautiful?
Oh. Commissioner.
What happened?
Oh, she hit me. Why would she do something like that? I was protecting her.
Laura?
Yes, ma'am.
Go on.
Well, we were playing cards. Oh, you know how it is, Commissioner. I guess she got a little lonely being cooped up in here. Well, anyway, she said she was going to get a cold drink out of the refrigerator. Asked me if I wanted something. I said, no, thanks. And she gets up, goes past me, and bang, that was it. Went out like a light. Well, B.
What?
I just realized something, Commissioner. She hit me with her hand.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir, I'm sure. But I couldn't in this world tell you why.
Well, something must have happened to make her do it. Something you said or did.
Well, I don't know what it could be. We were only playing gin. I'd already lost $1.37.
All right. Let's start from the beginning.
Well, I came on duty at 8. That's when Davenport goes off. About 9 or so, I knocked on the door, checked to see if everything was okay. Well, she must have been kind of lonely. Asked me to play some cards. Well, I didn't see any harm in that, Commissioner. So, we sat down and started to play. We must have been at it for about an hour. Then she gets up and clobbers me, just like that.
Nothing else happened? What did you talk about?
Well, I guess I did most of the talking. I told her about my 2 boys in college. Talked a little bit about being a ham operator. Things like that.
So you just sat there and talked and played cards, and that's it?
Yes, sir. Oh, hey, there was a call. A friend of hers. It didn't last more than a minute.
What did she say? Exactly.
Well, phone rang. Hello? Joanne, I think. Yes, I'm still here. I'm playing cards with this very nice policeman. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Then she hung up. About 5 minutes later, she goes into this karate act.
What time did this call come in? Try to pin it down.
I'd have to say just after 10, Commissioner. A few minutes after 10.
Hello? Oh, hello, Commissioner.
I hope you're not too comfortable.
Not really, sir.
Good, then you don't mind meeting me at the airport in 30 minutes. Are you sure I'm not disturbing you?
Not at all, sir. I'll be right there.
Would you mind telling me what's going on?
I'm not sure yet.
Well, you know more than I do. Why are we going to the airport after all?
We're working on the assumption that Laura is a helpless little pawn in the situation, right?
Well, I'll give you this. She's a lot of things. Helpless she ain't.
What if Laura isn't who she says she is? Then the phone call makes some sense.
It does? Not to me.
Laura got her call a few minutes after 10, is that right?
Yeah.
What time did Cushing call me at the apartment?
I don't know.
10 o'clock and all's well.
Mildred! That's when she answered the phone.
And a few minutes after that, Laura gets a call from a friend.
And a few minutes after that, Laura slugs poor Ames over the head and she gets out of there. Why?
Because somebody told her to. Told her that Cushing was going to be at the airport.
What does Laura have to do with Cushing? And besides, how could anybody know what Cushing was telling you over our phone? Unless our phone's been bugged. That doesn't make any sense. It's all crazy.
Not if Laura's the sleeper.
Laura? Laura is an agent?
Laura, or whatever her name is, finds out that Carmichael made a deal with Walt Harmon, the name of the sleeper, in exchange for a new life. That means she has to kill Carmichael to shut him up. Then she establishes herself as Carmichael's girlfriend.
She puts her own picture in Carmichael's apartment.
And the receipt for the leather carryall. The final touch was that fake attempt on her life. That set me up for the safety deposit box.
With Cushing's name on it.
She made Cushing her patsy. The moment I opened that envelope, Walt Harmon and I were on the trail of the wrong sleeper. I think Cushing's onto her. I think that's what he wants to tell me at the airport.
That is a fascinating theory. The only thing is, if Cushing isn't the sleeper, then why did he try to kill you?
Because he thought I was trying to kill him.
Huh. Where does that man with the hat fit in?
I don't know yet. But he's got to be in on it with Laura. I'll bet you he fired that shot into her apartment.
The man with the hat?
And if I'm right, he's also the guy who tapped our phone. And if I'm right, Laura and the man with the hat are on their way to the airport.
If you're wrong?
The action's still at the airport. I want you to stay right here and catch Enright when he comes in. I'll pick him up later.
Where are you gonna go?
Find Cushing.
I'd better go look for him.
I don't know, Sergeant. He said to wait right here.
I know, but I really think I should go look for him. Commissioner? I figured I'd better find out what I'm supposed to be doing.
Three people, Sergeant. Laura Rainey, your friend with the hat, and Cushing. Grab anyone that you can.
Yes, sir.
Laura!
Stay there.
What about the other one, sir?
Keep looking. This gun wasn't fired.
Do you think I killed him? No. Someone else got there first. But I wanted to kill him. More than anything in this world, I wanted to kill him.
All right, then. If it wasn't you, it was your partner. You're under arrest for the murder of Carl Reese.
Carl. You're arresting me for Carl's murder. I loved Carl. That's the man who killed Carl. He was trying to get out of the country. That's what I'm doing here tonight. Carl and I were on opposite sides of the fence. I started out deceiving him, but I ended up loving him.
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
Flight 900 to Geneva, departing at 11:30. Final call, please.
All right, I got a gun. Here's my identification.
Sorry, Commissioner. Why did you say so?
Why didn't you ask me?
Sir, may I see your boarding pass?
don't you fireball? It's empty, isn't it? You might as well hand it over.
Yeah. Might as well.
I'm sorry, Walt.
I know that, Mac. Damn, but you're good. I didn't think you'd catch on.
The truth is, I didn't catch on till now. You're the sleeper. I'd never have found you if I hadn't found this. It's brand new, Walt. It couldn't belong to the guy I thought I was chasing.
His name's Tanner. He works for the agency, too. Looks like Washington was onto me, Mac. They sent him out to Bird Dog. And talk about your new stamped-out models. That is one hell of a clumsy boy.
Yeah. He couldn't even figure out where I fit in. He put a tail on me. Carmichael was blackmailing you, wasn't he?
Yeah. He'd found out who I was. He wanted me to provide him with $250,000 and a new identity, or he'd feed me to Washington.
What about Laura? How does she fit in?
Well, she worked in my section back in Washington. And while Carmichael was waiting for me to come up with the money, I played Cupid. Worked like a charm. Carmichael should have known better, but he fell in love. And, of course, I was figuring on knocking him off through Laura. Didn't work that way.
No. She fell in love with him.
Yeah. And when I found that out, I had to come up with a whole new approach. And then you came into the picture. Now I had to move fast, right?
So you made Cushing the sleeper. And you told Laura he killed Carmichael.
Yeah. She was ready to go after him with her bare hands. I told her we couldn't play it that way. After all, we had a police commissioner to satisfy, and we had to keep a low profile for the agency.
So you had to set the stage. Yeah. You fired that shot into Laura's apartment, didn't you? You had Laura hand over the safety deposit key. All roads leading to Cushing. And I was supposed to kill him at the roller bowl, wasn't I?
It would have put an end to it, Mac. And if I hadn't missed him, you know something, Mac? I'm getting old.
No. You wouldn't have fired with all those people in the way, so he escaped. Now you had to come up with another twist.
I didn't have any more twists until he called you. Because by this time he didn't trust me. He never saw who shot him at the roller bowl, but he was beginning to get a whiff. And after all, I sent him there, right?
He knew somebody was after him. He thought it was you. So he had to get somewhere safe. But first he had to call me. What he didn't know was that you had my phone tapped. And when you found out he was going to be at the airport, you called Laura. Told her that her lover's murderer was escaping.
Yeah, but she lost him. I had to do it myself. It almost worked. It was a little improvised, but it almost worked. You see, I didn't count on you to figure that tap. That was smart, Mac. Then you took it one step further. You figured somebody'd be using Cushing's ticket and passport. Smart.
I had expert training.
I'm tired, Mac. Tired of playing games. Comes a time when you just get tired. Well, at least I finished it right, eh? First class.
Yeah, you always go first class.
Don't worry about it, Mac. I'm just as graceless as poor old Carmichael was when he got caught. I threw the cyanide away months ago. You know how tired I really am, Mac? I couldn't even kill you.
Commissioner, I got him. I got him, sir.
Let him go.
But, sir...
He's with the government.
I tried to tell you that. As for you, Commissioner McMillan, I think I better warn you right now that my particular organization is more than a little interested in your activities.
Thanks for the warning.
Mac? You know, I've been thinking. Walt Harmon was an enemy agent, but he was a good friend, too. You know, people don't think of spies as human beings, but they are. I guess it's just a weakness that they can't help.
Or a strength.
I always thought of it as such a glamorous world. But Walt was right, it's not. You made the right decision.
What's that?
Getting out of the agency. Being a spy is dirty, dangerous business. I'm just glad you went into police work instead.
Mildred? What's the matter? Wow, what is it?
Hello.
Commissioner?
Morning, Charlie.
Good morning, sir. Look, I'm sorry to bother you this early,
But I thought you should know.
What?
Last night, sir, Mildred was attacked.
What? Is she all right?
Yes, sir. She's just a little frightened, that's all. The guy got in through the fire escape.
You think it was an attempt to intimidate the jury?
Well, Mildred thinks it was an attempt to rape. But, frankly, sir, I think that's debatable. In any case, Judge Freeman has ordered the entire jury to be moved to the new Stanhope Hotel for the remainder of the trial.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Well, I think so, sir. All the windows in that place are sealed. It can be guarded like a vault.
Hey, here they come. Hey, Luke, how do you feel? Confident. Will you appeal it if it goes against you? It's not going to. When are you going to join the team, Luke?
soon as I can.
What about your wife?
What about it?
Well, are you contemplating a divorce?
No comment. I will be glad to meet with you when the trial is over.
That's the scene this morning at the county courthouse as Luke Johnson, star running back of the San Francisco Miners, enters Judge Freeman's courtroom for the last day of his trial for the murder of Mo Draper. His attorney, Leon Silver, when questioned by reporters, continued to display public confidence that his client would be acquitted. On the local scene, a citizens group is gearing up for the fight against the resumption of offshore drilling. Spokesperson Vilma Rosinski vows
Mac?
their case.
What?
I'm out of milk.
Well, I'm out of socks.
No, you're not. They're in the lower left-hand drawer right next to my nightgowns.
And now for the news in sports, here's Janet.
This coming Sunday's game between the Miners and the Bears looks like a mismatch if there ever was one. The Miners are having their troubles, and the Bears have fielded one of their strongest teams in a decade. If you're a Miners fan, better wait till next year. In NBA action last night, the Lakers edged the Warriors 110 to 107. Portland walloped the Bucks 120.
Sally, nothing in this house has been right since Mildred left.
Oh, she'll be back in a few days.
A few days? She's been gone 3 weeks.
Well, how would it look for the police commissioner's housekeeper not to serve on jury duty?
And how do you think it looks when a police commissioner's shirt is missing a button? Look at this. Mildred sewed 2 buttons on this cuff and none on this.
Well, she was kind of nervous before she left. She's never been on jury duty before.
But while we're on the subject, what were my black socks doing with your nightgown?
Oh, I put them there so I could find them. You know how my feet get cold when I'm pregnant?
You're the only woman I've ever known who wears black socks to bed.
I wish you'd stop comparing me to your other girlfriends. Especially when the toaster's busted again.
Hold the plug.
Oh, my eggs, Mac. Just when I wanted you to have a good breakfast.
Hey, that's okay. I'm not hungry anymore.
Oh, you are too.
All right, I'm hungry. I'm just trying to be nice. I'll settle for a nice hot cup of
No milk.
black coffee. Sally!
Don't yell. I'm a pregnant person.
What's a pregnant person got to do with forgetting to plug in the coffee?
We switch now to a live report from the county.
Mildred!
Where?
Here.
Standing by. Larry?
Thanks, Tom. There is an unmistakable air of tension this morning as the jury members in the Luke Johnson murder trial file into Judge Freeman's courtroom for the 23rd day to hear final arguments before starting their deliberations.
She doesn't look as if she's been raped.
What?
Now for the weather.
Well, somebody broke into her room last night.
You're kidding. Is she all right?
Oh, yeah. She was able to scare him off. Uh-oh, 15 minutes late.
Windy temperatures in the high 60s to low 70s with a low pressure system promising the definite possibility of rain in the Bay Area. And that's it. Have a good day. I'll see you tonight on the 6 o'clock news.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have sat very patiently day after day listening to Mr. Silver trying to becloud the basic issue of this case. Now, he's continually raised the specter of reasonable doubt, stating that the case against his client is purely one of circumstantial evidence. All right, let's take a look at some simple, provable facts. A score of witnesses, 10 minutes before Mo Draper was brutally beaten and shot, heard Luke Johnson threaten Mr. Draper's life. Now, that's a fact. A few minutes after that, Mo Draper left the party they were attending and was followed outside by Luke Johnson, and that's a fact. Just 5 minutes after that, Mo Draper was found shot to death in the parking lot of the restaurant where the party was being held. That's a fact.
Juror number 9. Second row. Dark hair, glasses. He's
Now,
going
a
to
short
give us
time
trouble, I
after
think.
that, Luke Johnson was arrested at his home, where he was assaulting his wife in a dispute over her alleged affections for Mo Draper. You've heard testimony here that the bullets which killed Mo Draper came from a .22 caliber handgun. You also heard testimony establishing the fact that Luke Johnson owned a .22 caliber pistol. Those are facts, ladies and gentlemen. Plain and simple facts. When Mr. Johnston was asked to produce the weapon, he could not do so. To this day, it has not been found. Now, Mr. Silver here would ask us to believe that somebody stole Luke Johnston's gun and murdered Mo Draper. But I suggest to you that Luke Johnson murdered Mo Draper and then disposed of the gun himself. Now, we have established beyond doubt motive, means, and method. Now, you, ladies and gentlemen, have a responsibility to yourselves, to your neighbors, to your community. Find Luke Johnson guilty of murder in the second degree. Thank you.
Pompous ass. Now, Your Honor, if it please the court, it's very nearly lunchtime, and I, for one, would like to digest the district attorney's remarks before starting on my own.
Very well. Court is recessed until 2 o'clock.
Hi, this is Sally McMillan. If you're an obscene phone caller, you're out of luck. Neither I nor what's-his-name is home right now. If you care to leave a message, however, wait for the little beep. It should be coming up momentarily.
Sally, this is your favorite obscene phone caller. When you hear the little beep, I shall commence my heavy breathing. Beep.
Calling the wife again, sir?
Don't you ever knock?
Sorry. But you did say you wanted to see the police report on the break into Mildred's room last night? Nothing was stolen, sir, so apparently it wasn't robbery.
Did you get a look at him?
No, sir. Now, the man started to smother her, and then he stopped suddenly, ran back out onto the fire escape.
Sounds like a setup to me. An attempt to scare the jury and cause a mistrial.
Mm-hmm. Well, their new quarters are break-in proof, sir. They're on the 7th floor, and there's no way in or out of any of the rooms without passing the guard stations.
Good.
Sir? Are you aware that you have on 2 different colored socks?
Well, with Mildred on the jury for the last 3 weeks, I can take solace in the fact that I can find any socks at all.
You know, sir, I solved that problem years ago.
Oh?
Well, I threw out my bureau and I replaced it with a filing cabinet.
I don't think a filing cabinet would go with Sally's bedroom decor.
Oh. Well, it may not be aesthetic, sir, but it's very efficient. You see, I file my socks under S, and my T-shirts under T, and my shorts under B, and my tie...
B?
Boxers, sir.
Oh.
Well, I find them infinitely preferable to the other type. It's all a matter of taste, sir.
Well, if you have to sit all day, you know. Hello?
Hi, Mac, listen, I just got home from shopping and I turned on the dishwasher and it's busted again. That repairman was terrible. Do you know he charged me $16 for that thing?
Mildred will fix it.
She can't fix it.
Oh, that's right. She's not there.
Mac, what am I gonna do? It's smoking all over the place. Every single dish in the house is in it and I can't get the thing open. I think we're gonna have to go out to dinner again tonight.
Again? We've been out every night this week.
Well, we've gotta eat.
Well, I'll stop and pick up some fried chicken or something. And meanwhile, unplug the dishwasher.
Oh, that's a good idea. And then listen, I think after that I'll go upstairs and have a good cry.
Good idea. I'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
And at any point in your deliberations, should you need to refresh yourselves on any of the evidence or the testimony, simply let the bailiff know, and he will make the transcripts available to you. The bailiff will now escort you to the jury room.
Ladies and gentlemen, and others, so a Milton Berle I'm not. However, we gotta have a jury foreman, so I nominate myself.
I second the nomination, Mr. Pearl.
Thank you, Mildred. I'm honored. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All those opposed? So be it. So let's debate.
Mr. Pearl, I think before you begin, we might poll the members and see if there's anything to debate.
Yeah, she's right. That's a fine idea, Miss Jerome. And since I'm foreman, I may as well go on record as being for acquittal. I don't think that the district attorney proved his case. Mrs. Farmer?
Well, if you ask me, he's innocent of all charges.
Mr. Davis?
I gotta vote innocent, at least for now.
Mrs. Potts?
I just don't think that young man is a killer. That's all. Not guilty.
Mr. Franks?
I vote not guilty.
Mrs. Burke?
Not guilty.
Mr. Lopez?
Not guilty.
Mr. Simon?
A definite not guilty.
Miss Jerome?
Innocent.
Mrs. Delgado?
Not guilty.
I think we may be going home early. Mr. Ryan?
Guilty. Guilty?
Is he kidding? How can he say that?
Well, he just opens his mouth and moves his lips. Works every time.
Mr. Ryan, you can't convict if there's reasonable doubt.
At this point, Mr. Lopez, I have no reasonable doubt.
And you have no sense if you say that boy is guilty.
Man's got a right to his opinion. That's what we're here for.
A point well taken, Mr. Davis.
That's baloney. What does that guy know? A professional football player. Now, what would he go around killing people for?
Sure, especially when he can do it every Sunday, legally.
Oh, listen to her, would you?
No, I think
Listen, wait a minute.
Mr. Ryan
Will you just a minute, please? Why don't we just all go back to the hotel, have a nice dinner, a good night's sleep, and tackle this thing fresh in the morning?
That's the smartest thing I've heard so far.
Do we have to?
Well, we've been here 3 weeks already. Is another day gonna kill us?
Me, it'll kill. But I guess you're right.
Well, at least we agree on something.
Hello. Okay, thanks. Mike?
Yeah?
Coming up. Hiya, folks. Mike will sign in. I'll take your dinner orders. The chef recommends steak or fish.
Well, for Mr. Ryan, I recommend heartburn. For myself, I'll have fish.
Okay.
One good flounder deserves another. I'll have the steak, salad with French dressing, iced tea, whole the mayo.
Bad day, huh?
Listen, we sat 6 hours in the jury box, another hour in the jury room, and I look forward to sitting in my room having my dinner. Without TV or radio or telephone, maybe I can break up the monotony by going to bed. Maybe I'll get attacked again.
Oh, no way, Mildred. Not in this place.
Yeah, thanks.
Hello, Mr. Pearl.
How are you? I would like the fish, but it shouldn't be too dry, huh?
Okay.
And I would like a nice salad.
Salad, sure.
Yes, thank you.
Hello, Miss Jerome.
Hi, Jerry.
How's the book?
Terrific.
Oh, hello, plastic room.
Okay. Thanks, fellas. Hey, Mike, why don't you stay on the desk? Let me play waiter. Okay.
Hi.
Oh, Mildred, you're a vision.
Thanks. I love you, too. Put it on the desk over there, okay?
Well, it's a hung jury. 7 of you went for the steak and 5 got fish.
Oh, yeah? Well, listen, what do you say after dinner we play a couple of hands of strip pinochle?
No, not tonight. Miss Jerome has a better offer. She wants me to play post office.
Oh, yeah? Well, if you get tired licking stamps, let me know.
Yeah, I will. Hello?
Yes, this is Virginia Ryan.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to talk to Tom Ryan, if I may. Is he awake?
No, I think they're all asleep by now.
It's rather important. His father has taken a turn for the worse, and his doctor's thinking of hospitalizing him.
Gee, I'm sorry to hear that.
I know Tom must be exhausted from the trial.
No, that's all right. I'll wake him and tell him.
I'd appreciate it. And if he's allowed, I'd like to talk to him.
I'll tell him.
Thank you so much.
Good night, Mrs. Ryan. Mr. Ryan? Mr. Ryan, open up.
Try the door.
Locked.
He's dead.
He's been shot. Call it in, will you? Move, man, move it!
Mac? When Mildred gets back and before we have the baby, let's take the weekend off.
Where to?
I was thinking Las Vegas might be kind of fun.
You always lose the food money at blackjack.
I know, but you always win it back at the crap table.
I'd rather go to a nice deserted beach somewhere
How about Hawaii?
for the weekend.
Well, we could take the whole week. Amy Switzer was telling me about this place that she went to. She said it was just fabulous.
How much?
210
That's not bad.
a day.
That's bad.
Do you feel like getting that?
Not a lot.
I don't either, and you're closer.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Charlie, do you know what time it is?
10:45. I'm sorry to bust in like this, but there's been a murder. One of the jurors on the Luke Johnson case.
Oh, my Lord. How's Mildred?
Oh, she's fine. She's
Who
fine.
was it?
It was a man called Tom Ryan, Jr., sir.
Oh, I know his father.
I know you do.
Well, that's why I came by, sir. Plus the incident involving Mildred last night.
I'll get my jacket.
I'll get it.
Don't forget your shoes, sir.
I don't know why you insisted on coming here with us.
Mac, Mildred must be petrified. She's gonna need me.
For what? To hang around the lobby?
Well, I won't get in the way upstairs, I promise.
You have to stay down here. It's still an impaneled jury.
Oh. Well, will you give Mildred my love?
I will.
Okay, I'll see you. I'll be in the lounge.
Okay.
Oh, Commissioner, I'm glad to see you. Listen, he was such a nice young man. He was under lock and key here. Now, last night I could
understand the word you're saying.
I said last night I can understand, but in this hotel it just couldn't happen.
Well, it did.
Well, you've got to solve it. Everybody's scared out of their wits. They feel if it can happen to one, it can happen to
All
anybody.
right, let me get in there and find out the details.
It's room 720. Oh, yeah.
Sam?
Evening, Commissioner.
What?
We got a 2-hour-old corpse, give or take. Rigor mortis is just setting in. I needed this like a hole in the head. I got 3 steps downtown I can't get to.
Well, I think they'll wait for you, Sam. What else?
He shot twice in the back below the rib cage. Cause of death, loss of blood, massive dysfunction of his kidneys.
If he died 2 hours ago, how come the blood's still wet?
That's lividity. As the blood settles to the lowest point in the body, it continues to seep out.
All right. I want a complete report on my desk in the morning.
Oh, Commissioner, give me a break.
I just did. I'm not asking for it tonight.
It is very curious, sir.
What?
Well, the way this place is set up, no one could have gone in or come out of this room without being seen by those two guards. And the door was locked from the inside.
What about the windows?
2 sealed panes of glass. There's not a window in this entire hotel that opens.
The room has been searched, hasn't it?
Yes, sir. It's been searched. The closets, the john. There's no sign of a weapon anywhere.
You did talk to the guards?
Yeah, I got the statements a couple of minutes ago.
I have a couple of questions I'd like to ask him.
Officer, could I see you for a moment?
Which one of you found the body?
Well, actually, sir, we both found him. I broke the door in, and Mike here phoned the police.
What were you doing in his room in the first place?
A phone call came in at 10:30, and when I took the message in, we found him. It was a call from Mr. Ryan's stepmother.
Could I hear the tape?
Yeah, sure, sir. The calls are automatically recorded when they come in, and then I transfer them into the book according to what time they came and who called.
Hello.
Yes, this is Virginia Ryan.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to talk to Tom Ryan, if I may. Is he awake?
No, I think they're all asleep by now.
Well, it's rather important. His father's taken a turn for the worse, and his doctor's thinking of hospitalizing him.
Gee, I'm sorry to hear that.
I know Tom must be exhausted from the trial.
No, that's all right. I'll wake him and tell him.
I'd appreciate it. And if he's allowed, I'd like to talk to him.
I'll tell him.
Thank you so much.
Good night, Mrs. Ryan.
As you know, Commissioner, we record all calls coming in so as to avoid any possibility of pressure or threats to the jury members.
Well, it didn't work very well, did it?
No, I guess not, sir.
Is there any possibility of gaining access to the room without being spotted?
I don't see how, Commissioner. Jerry here was in Miss Jerome's room from about 7:45 to 8:15 or so, but I was on the desk the whole time.
Miss Jerome, who's...
Miss Jerome is a jury member who's also a freelance writer. She's writing a book about the trial, and she wanted to interview me.
I'll bet.
Commissioner, I feel terrible about this. It probably wouldn't have happened if I hadn't left my desk.
I doubt if it would have made any difference. You say you never left the desk?
No, sir. Mr. Mordani, the house detective, can vouch for that. He was up here shooting the breeze till past 9 o'clock.
Okay, well, I may want to talk to you boys again.
Anytime, Commissioner.
Commissioner, this is Mr. Pearl, our jury foreman.
Terrible thing, Commissioner.
Indeed.
And this is Mr. Mordanti, the house dick.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Commissioner. I'm Director of Internal Security here at the hotel. If there's anything I can do for you, anything at all, anything you want to know, please call me, okay? Nino Mordanti. M-O-R-D-A-N-T-I.
That's very kind of you, Mr. Mordanti. Mildred, will you be all right?
Commissioner, can't I come home tonight?
You're an impaneled jurist, Mildred.
Well, can't you get me unpaneled? I mean, somebody could get killed around here. Somebody did get killed around here.
A terrible thing.
I'm sorry, Mildred, but until the judge decides the disposition of the case, you'll all have to stay here under guard.
A lot of good that'll do.
You got nothing to worry about, Commissioner. Mildred is in the best of hands. Your concern, my concern. Mordanti protects. It's a very personal motto.
I appreciate that, Mr. Mordanti.
Think nothing of it.
No, he won't.
Mildred, try not to worry. I'll have guards posted in and outside of this hotel all night, even up on the roof. You'll all feel perfectly safe, I promise.
Thank you.
You know that if you were 14 inches taller, I could go for you.
Yeah, and if a frog had wings, he wouldn't bump his keister when he jumped off a log.
Yeah. Well, good night, Mildred. Mr. Pearl, Mr. Mordanti.
Commissioner.
I know. A terrible thing.
Terrible.
Commissioner. Commissioner, you were right. I've just been talking to some of the other jurors, and I think we have found a motive for murder.
What's that?
Well, according to them, the first vote that was taken in the jury room, Mr. Ryan was the only person who voted guilty.
Well, if that's a motive, then either the jury room was bugged by somebody on the outside, or one of the jurists killed Tom Ryan.
Well, I'll have that jury room checked for a bug tonight, sir.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Ever been to Seattle?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you have to come up there as my guest. You've heard of our needle.
What needle?
From the fair.
Oh, that needle. Yes.
So, we're all down here for this sales convention. But I gotta be honest, the other guys may be having a blast, but me, well, it's tough to have a good time when you're feeling as lonely as I feel. You don't know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean.
I knew you would. I sensed that from you right off. I feel as if I somehow know you. Do you share that feeling?
Definitely. It's as though, well, it's as though I know exactly what you're going to say, even before you say it.
I've never done this before. But would you like to see my suit?
Well, I can see your suit. It's very nice.
Oh, not this suit. My suit of rooms on the 6th floor.
That's sweet.
Thank you. You're sweet, too.
Excuse me, miss, but, is this gentleman your husband?
No, he's just an acquaintance.
Well, I'm operating on a very tight schedule. Now, are you going to spend the night with me in this hotel or not?
Hey, wait a minute.
Yes, I think I'd like that very much.
Well, let's go then. We haven't got all night.
You're pregnant.
You noticed.
Oh, Commissioner, I'm glad I caught up with you. Well, I came in your car, and my car's back in your place, so could you give me a lift?
We're just leaving.
Hey, Mac,
He knows your name.
I just want to tell you, you got a lot of nerve taking advantage of a lady in that condition.
Well, actually, I'm the lady's brother.
Oh, yeah, sure. And I'm Bernini Mussolino.
Well, good night, Sergeant. Good night, Mac.
Good night. I'll see you in a little while. We're going to have a little snack. Come on, Charlie.
Okay.
Well, here, why don't you do the eggs? I'll do the onions.
I hope, Commissioner, that this isn't too much trouble for you.
Not at all.
Sir, do you think that this murder and the attack on Mildred last night are interrelated?
Oh, I don't think so. Could be.
Well, this is not going to be an easy case.
I know.
In fact, I've never seen anything quite like it, sir. According to all the available evidence, it didn't happen. There was no way.
I know.
All the doors locked from the inside. There was always a guard on duty. None of the rooms connect.
I know.
Do you think Luke Johnson did it?
It's doubtful. Because if he knew Tom Ryan voted guilty, he'd know that the other 11 jurors voted not guilty. He'd also have to assume that the odds would be in favor of an eventual acquittal. And a murdered juror would probably result in a mistrial. And I don't think he wants to go through all that again.
And it was someone else. Someone who doesn't want to see Luke Johnson back in uniform this season.
For any other season, for that matter.
Oh, sir, don't feel so bad. It isn't hopeless.
I'm crying because I peeled an onion, not because I can't solve the case.
You mean you can solve the case?
I didn't say that. Charlie.
Yes, sir?
Do you realize you just cracked 14 eggs?
I hope you're hungry.
After carefully weighing the alternatives, I feel there is no choice but to declare a mistrial. Under the circumstances, it would not make sense to replace the deceased with an alternate. The case has been irrevocably prejudiced due to the implied threat to the entire jury, and I am loath to even set a new date for trial until this tragic murder has been solved. It is the court's hope that Mr. Ryan's murder is solved with dispatch. This kind of threat to our very system of trial by jury cannot, will not be tolerated. With deep thanks and heartfelt regrets, the jury is hereby dismissed.
Of course I'm upset by last night's murder. What are you going to do now? Are you kidding? What can I do? Whatever happens, there's no way I'll be able to play out the rest of the season. Who are you appeal to, the commissioner of football?
The commissioner's office has made it quite clear that under no circumstances will Luke's suspension be lifted until this entire matter has been resolved. Now, gentlemen, if you'll excuse us.
Could I ask you one more question?
I appreciate this impromptu meeting, Stewart. How have you been?
Can't complain, Leon. What can I do for you?
Luke?
Commissioner, I don't know if you've been following my case.
I'm familiar with it, of course.
Well, I didn't kill Mo Draper.
Well, that's up to the jury to decide.
I know that. But the way it looks now, unless this new murder is solved, and fast, I'm finished in the pros.
You were suspended, not banned.
Well, Luke's lost a half season already, Stewart. He could wind up losing a whole year.
A running back, if he's lucky, has maybe 5 or 6 years before some faster, stronger, tougher kid comes along and bumps you out of a job. I've never begged for anything in my life before, but I'm begging you now. Please catch this guy, fast.
According to your statement last night, you were home all evening.
That's right.
But you can't prove it.
No, sir, I can't. But I'm asking you, if it was you on trial, and you had every reason to believe the jury was going to acquit, would you kill the one guy who was voting against you?
How did you know he voted against you?
Well, that's my fault, I'm afraid, Stewart. You've been there. You get so you can read a jury, and I knew Ryan was going to give us some trouble. Well, I told Luke as much.
I guarantee you, Commissioner, you catch the guy that killed Ryan, and you got the guy that killed Mo Draper.
Well, needless to say, Luke, I intend to get to the bottom of Mr. Ryan's murder. No matter who gets hurt.
Okay. Now, we better take off, Luke.
Okay.
Thank you for seeing us, Stewart. What do you think, Commissioner?
I think Leon Silver's one hell of a good attorney. He wants me on their side, so he took the direct route.
Well, they sold me. I don't think Luke Johnson is guilty of murder.
Which one?
Neither one.
Lord, we commend unto thy hands the soul of thy faithful servant, Thomas Ryan, Jr. And we pray you will bless him and bestow upon him thy everlasting bounty. Amen.
Mrs. Ryan, I'm Sally McMillan.
I'm Mrs. Ryan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. You must be Stuart McMillan.
I wish we were meeting under less tragic circumstances, Mrs. Ryan. Thomas?
Celia, would you take Mr. Ryan to the car, please? Yes, ma'am.
He had a series of debilitating strokes since you last saw him.
I didn't know that.
With Thomas Jr.'s death, I'm just afraid that he'll lose his will to live.
I know this must be a difficult time for you, Mrs. Ryan.
It is. We're all going to miss Thomas Jr. terribly. Oh, he was such a fine, strong man. He had such high ideals. Just like his father. So ironic that those ideals were what killed him. We tried to talk him out of going on jury duty. It certainly would have been easy enough to arrange. He said no. He felt he had a responsibility to go through with it.
Sometimes it seems to me the whole world must be going crazy. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh.
always were a fighter. Don't let this beat you. Be strong.
Mac, I don't know how much longer I have. Find my son's killer before I die. I want justice.
I'll do my best, Thomas. I promise.
What are you thinking about, Mac?
Last time I saw Tom Ryan Sr. He was a big man then, full of energy. Started with nothing, amassed a fortune in the private aircraft business. I lost track of him for a while. A couple years ago, he called me and told me he'd remarried. Said he had everything. Wife in London. Son taking over more and more of the business, successfully. Looking forward to the future with such enthusiasm. And now this.
You know, Virginia Ryan seems to be an admirable woman, doesn't she?
Will you take care of me when I'm old and gray?
I don't know. You're not as rich as Tom Ryan Sr.
On the other hand, Miss Cynical.
Ms. Cynical.
On the other hand, I didn't make you sign a binding premarital agreement cutting you out of the family fortune.
Tom Ryan did.
Virginia married him because she loved him.
Well, that's why I married you.
Go on, you married me for my money.
You didn't have a nickel in savings when I married you.
We still don't have a nickel in savings.
Yes, but look how much higher our standard of living is.
This thing was jammed with breadcrumbs. Ought to work now.
What about the dishwasher?
Well, the starter button's busted on that. I'll go to work on that tomorrow.
Mildred, you're fantastic.
I'd like to think so.
Evening, ladies.
Hi, Commissioner. Listen, I have a roast beef sandwich waiting. Would you like to have it?
I'd love it. Mildred, it's good to have you home again.
Oh, it's nice to be had, Commissioner.
Well, this was delivered by messenger. It's the Luke Johnson trial transcript.
It's awfully fat.
1,028 pages.
They have the Classics Illustrated version.
You can always wait and see the movie.
Hey, Commissioner, you remember that house Dick Mordanti?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you should hear some of the cockamamie ideas he has about this case.
I know. He called the office 3 times today.
Yeah, we started to call here, too.
At this point, I'm ready to listen to anybody.
That's tough, huh?
I'm stymied. Nothing adds up.
He's asked me out to dinner tomorrow.
Dinner, huh?
Well, I know he's not exactly a brain trust, but who am I to turn down a freebie, you know?
There's one thing I don't understand. Why the gun never turned up.
Which gun?
I'm talking about the gun that killed Mo Draper. Now, the DA claimed that it was owned by Luke Johnson, but it never showed up.
Boy, if I was the murderer, the first thing I'd do is ditch the weapon.
I know, but it says here that between the time that Luke Johnson allegedly killed Mo Draper and the time that he was arrested, only 20 minutes elapsed.
Well, that's plenty of time to hide one teeny-weeny little gun.
Yeah, but the police searched a 5-square-mile area around the Johnson house and they couldn't find a thing.
Well, maybe Luke's gun was stolen before the murder by somebody who wanted to frame him.
Which is exactly the case that Luke's attorney's trying to make. Oh, this cream soda. Mildred, you know I don't like cream soda.
Well, there was a wonderful sale at the supermarket, and I couldn't resist it. I bought 2 cases.
There are 4 down in the garage now from the last sale you couldn't resist.
Boy, home 2 days and already the honeymoon is over.
And the bread isn't even brown yet.
Better to pop up prematurely than not at all, right, Commissioner?
Mac, what about Andrew Brill?
President of the football team?
Mm-hmm. You know, Luke Johnson's been playing for the Miners for 3 years, and for 3 years he has feuded with Andrew Brill about money. Everybody knows he's going to play out his option this year and the next year sign with another team.
I didn't know that.
Mildred, it's right here in the trial transcript. You were there, remember?
Oh, yeah. I was just testing you to see if you'd read it carefully.
Anyway, from what I know about Andrew Brill, he would destroy one of his players before he'd let him go to another team.
Yeah, that ought to do it.
Mildred, are you all right?
I think I did something wrong.
Thanks.
Gentlemen, a little more spirit, please. I know it's only practice, but Big Brother's watching.
Football players are a subhuman species, Commissioner. Big, dumb, money-hungry,
violent.
And now for the bad news.
It's like running a zoo. You have to keep them on a short leash and let them know who's boss. Otherwise, they'll bite your arm off at the elbow. As far as I'm concerned, they're meat.
Well, if that's so, Mr. Brill, you've got a lot of filet mignon down there.
Sally, may I call you Sally?
Please.
You're delightful. Commissioner, I may not care for football players, but I have an abiding love and respect for women.
If you dislike the players so much, why do you stay in the business?
Because I love the money and the power.
Not to mention the notoriety.
Oh, that too. I've been accused of being arbitrary, tyrannical, cheapest man with a buck in pro football. I feuded with everyone at one time or another.
Well, you must have done something right. The directors would have ousted you long ago.
That gutless bunch are the least of my problems. I own 40% of the stock in the miners. The rest of them own 60, but they've never been able to stop fighting among themselves long enough to get rid of me.
Well, before they do, you'll have to invite us over to watch a game from your box. It's the most perfect view in the stadium.
You're welcome. Any and every Sunday, Sally, with or without your husband.
I'm going down to the field. I'd like to talk to one of your running backs, Carter Lewis. Do you mind?
Oh. Only if you leave your wife with me as a captive.
Who is captive of whom remains to be seen.
Mr. Brill.
Call me Andy.
Andy. I have been following football from grade school through high school and college. I've been a fan of the Miners for I don't know how many years, and I know the stats on every single player down there on the field.
That's more than I can say for the coaching staff.
Urbanowski? Yeah. Who are you?
Police Commissioner McMillan.
Oh, how you doing? Nice to meet you, sir.
Likewise, Mr. Urbanowski.
Just call me Coach. Everybody calls me Coach, even my wife.
Well, Coach, I wonder if I could talk to one of your players for a minute or two. Carter Lewis.
Sure thing. Hey, Lewis, come here a minute. You ever play football, Commissioner?
Oh, saw him in college.
Tight end, right?
How'd you guess?
Well, you're really not big enough for defense, but it looks like you got good speed.
Had speed.
Ain't it the truth? Carter, this is Commissioner of Police McMillan. He wants to talk to you. Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
What's a big shot dude like you want to talk to me for?
It's about Luke Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
I need some information.
Well, I'm sorry, Jim. I don't know nothing about nothing, you know?
I've done some research on you, Mr. Lewis.
No fooling.
No fooling. Phi Beta Kappa at North Carolina. Master's degree in speech therapy. Save your act for Howard Cosell.
It's just that I'm tired of being bugged with questions about Luke Johnson. You know, I just want to be left alone.
I've got 2 murders on my hands, Mr. Lewis. It's not my job to leave people alone.
Yeah, well, I've got my hands full trying to hold on to my job.
You were second string until Luke Johnson was suspended, is that right?
So what?
Well, if he were acquitted, you'd lose that job suddenly that you're trying so hard to hang on to.
Man, you are really something.
I already know where you were when Mo Draper was murdered. Can you verify your whereabouts when Tom Ryan was murdered?
Well, I'm in training. I went home early and I went to bed. No, I can't prove it. Besides, I don't have to. As far as I'm concerned, I am the starting back for the San Francisco Miners. And if Luke Johnson were to come back tomorrow, he would have to win the position from me. And you know, I just like that fine. Because I think the guy is overrated, and I'd like nothing better than a chance to prove it.
Well, it's academic at this point anyway, isn't it? As long as Luke Johnson's a suspect, you don't have anything to worry about.
I don't have anything to worry about anyway. Everybody knows he was going to play out his option and quit the team this season. Look, I've got work to do, man.
You've got a pretty tough reputation, don't you, Andy?
True. But I like to think I'm also a fair man.
Except when it comes to contracts, right?
Well, I found that my judgment of what's fair often conflicts with those who work for me. But football is a business. And like other businesses, you have to remain cost-conscious at all times.
Do you renegotiate the contracts personally?
No, I let my general manager, Buddy Stone, do that. But general managers are a dime a dozen. If they don't toe the mark for me, they're out. Ready, Sally?
Uh-huh.
Hi, Commissioner. I was telling your wife. This Sunday, I insist you come as my guest.
Oh, thank you. We'd love to.
And, Commissioner, if there's anything I can do to help you with your investigation, let me know.
I'll do that.
Whatever my personal feelings toward Luke, I do have a sense of justice. And if he's been wrongfully accused, he deserves to be cleared.
Andy, Oh, excuse me.
No, come in. Mrs. McMillan, Commissioner McMillan, this is Buddy Stone, my general manager.
How do you do?
This week. Always keep them on their toes, huh, Sally? Only way to run an airline.
Hi. Gee, that looks nice. Oh, thank you. You in the business? No, just an avid window shopper.
Well, I'm almost through here. Can I show you something in the store?
Are you Lena Johnson?
Yeah.
To be very honest with you, I just wanted to ask you a few questions.
I should have known. Reporter.
No, I'm not. My name is Sally McMillan. My husband's Stuart McMillan. He's the commissioner of police.
Well, Mrs. McMillan, I don't mean to be rude, but I have nothing to say to you.
I don't believe that Luke killed Mo Draper. I know that if we can solve the murder of that juror the other night, that maybe we can prove it.
We?
Well, I take an active interest in my husband's work.
My husband thought I took too much interest in his.
Can you think of anyone that would go so far as to kill a juror in order to keep Luke from playing out this season with the team?
There's only one man I know crazy enough to go that far. Andrew Brill.
How did I know that you were going to say that?
He and Luke have feuded over money ever since Luke was drafted by the miners. He even refused to renegotiate Luke's contract. I don't work here because I like to. I do it because I have to.
Luke never renegotiated his contract?
Nope. And when Luke told Brill that he was going to play out his option and quit the team, Brill threatened to ruin Luke. Oh, we didn't think anything about it, though, because we knew Luke could go to any team he wanted to.
Well, naturally.
Then Mo was killed, and, well, you know the rest.
Have you talked to your husband since the trial began?
No. I think he still believes I was having an affair with Mo. No, I wasn't. But Luke always thought I was having an affair with someone. When he was on the road, he'd call me, and if I wasn't home, he'd go crazy. But if I was home, he'd accuse me of having someone there. Damned if I did, and damned if I didn't. Even if this thing with Mo hadn't happened, I don't think we could have stayed together.
Lena, I appreciate your having talked to me. I know everything's going to work out.
I hope so, Mrs.
Bye-bye. How many times have I told you?
You know, it never ceases to amaze me.
What's that?
Every time I want to talk to somebody, you always beat me to the punch.
Pure coincidence.
Ha!
I was walking on my way to lunch, and I just happened to bump into Lena Johnson.
In a window display?
Do you want to know what she told me or not?
Why, yes.
She and Luke are absolutely broke.
Oh, paying Leon Silver's attorney fees would break a lot of people.
Before that, Andrew Brill flatly refuses to renegotiate Luke's contract. That's why Lena's had to keep working to make ends meet. Either Leon Silver has taken Luke on as a charity case, or somebody else is footing that bill.
From what I know of Leon Silver, he wouldn't pay a jaywalking ticket for his mother.
So much for charity. Boy, am I hungry. Do you want to have some lunch?
Yeah, I know a neat hot dog place right down the road.
I have told you so many times that stuff is terrible for you. Let's go to Clean Mind, Clean Body.
A gymnasium to eat?
It's a health food restaurant. It's terrific.
Yuck. What are you doing after lunch?
I'm going shopping.
Sally?
I really am.
Before talking with Leon Silver or after?
You're amazing. You read my mind.
2 veggie burgers, a side of slaw, and ice-cold carrot juice.
Mind boggles. I don't know why you would.
I don't know how you can keep drinking carrot juice. I mean...
Hey, mister, watch your step, huh?
Hey, wait a minute. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Hey, Joey, you mind if he asks me a question?
No, go ahead.
How do you install one of these windows? Is it difficult?
Not if you know what you're doing, no. Put the window in the frame using this suction gizmo. Seal it up around the edges, pull the gizmo.
And, you remove the window the same way?
Yeah, sure. Uh-huh.
I see. Well, thank you very much.
Anytime. Hey, listen, just take a card, just in case you need some window.
No, that's okay.
Take it, I'm telling you. You never know when a window might break on you. Yeah, just a second. Hold this a second. Here. Yeah, hold that. Joe, give me a card. I'm all out.
Again?
Come on.
Do you believe this?
Come on. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks. Here you go, pal.
Do you want to take this first?
Yeah. Yeah. Here you go.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Anytime.
This is only the outer office.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Why are we whispering?
Well, it's so dignified. It's like a museum. I always whisper in museums. May I help you?
Yes, we'd like to see Mr. Silver.
Do you have an appointment?
No, but would you tell him Stuart McMillan, Commissioner of Police, would like a few moments of his time?
Oh, Commissioner, excuse me. I didn't recognize you. I'll just tell him you're here.
Thank you.
Should she have recognized you?
Your Honor, I swear I've never seen that woman before in my life.
You'll see now.
Mac, come on in. It's good to see you.
It's nice to know that everybody around here isn't a whisperer.
Well, I'm the whisperee.
I don't believe you've met my wife.
Oh, no, I'm afraid I've never had that pleasure before.
Sally, this is Leon Silver.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Please sit down.
Thank you.
Well, Mac, I'm honored. I think in all the years we've known each other, this is the first time I've ever had the pleasure of a visit from you.
That's right.
What do you think?
Very nice.
I think it's one of the most beautiful offices I've ever seen.
Why, thank you. Please feel free to look around.
I think it will.
I am rather proud of it. It's taken me years to get it just right. Oh, I've just had lunch. Can I order you some?
No, thank you. We've eaten.
Well, is this a purely social visit, Stuart?
No.
I thought as much. What can I do for you?
Who's paying you for Luke Johnson's legal fees?
Well, you might say that I'm representing Mr. Johnson out of a love for the game of football.
I might, but I won't.
Well, I don't suppose there's any reason for secrecy about it. A good part of the tab is being paid by Buddy Stone, the general manager of the team. And the rest is in the form of an IOU signed by Luke Johnson.
Isn't Stone's generosity a bit excessive? I mean, what with Luke's announcement of quitting the team?
Well, I've known Buddy Stone for years, ever since his playing days with the Bears. And he's the only friend the players have. At best, Andrew Brill's attitude can be described as contemptible.
Why does he stay with Brill?
That's a good question. I've advised Buddy to quit many times, but he's concerned with the players' welfare, both on the field and off. And I might add that without him, there'd be mutiny on the team.
You said that Luke signed an IOU.
Yes, that's right. Payable when he's exonerated.
You must mean if he's exonerated.
Oh, he will be, my dear. He will be. I haven't lost a case in years.
Hello, sir. Mrs. McMillan?
Hi, Sergeant.
Did you find the information?
Yes, sir. The windows of this hotel are washed on a continuous basis, and they have a permanent electrical scaffolding up on the roof.
Is that how Tom Ryan was killed?
I don't know, but it's worth looking into. You ever ridden up on a scaffolding?
No, sir.
Well, there's always the first time. Did you bring your dusting kit?
Yes, sir. One of the lab men lent it to me.
Good. Then let's go up on the roof.
I'm getting kind of hungry. I think I'll wait for you guys in the coffee shop.
You just had lunch.
What can I tell you? See you later.
I wish I could eat like that.
Commissioner. Commissioner, I've been calling you for days.
No kidding.
Yes, no, I'm not kidding. I keep getting your secretary, your Mildred.
Well, the office has been pretty hectic.
That's all right. I know how busy you must be, except that I Well, I think I've cracked your case for you.
You have?
Yes, I have.
Uh-huh. Well, why don't you ride up to the roof with us and you can tell us about it?
All right.
Decide what you want, miss?
Yep. Swiss cheese, lettuce, and tomato, rye down, and hold the mayo.
I got you.
Hey, can you remember the night of the murder?
Does a duck have feathers? I was on the night shift. I am the guy that prepared all those dinners for the jurors. I tell you, it was a miserable night all around. Yeah, Chester died that night.
What a shame. Who was Chester?
My dog, a terrier.
Oh, gee, I'm sorry.
Well, what can you do? He was an old guy. He led a good life. He had his own bed. A girlfriend next door had died soon. I should be so lucky.
You must have loved him very much.
Yeah.
How'd he die?
The vet said poison. He probably got into the neighbor's gopher traps.
You know what you've got to do? Go right down to the pound and get yourself another little puppy.
I've been thinking about it, but I don't know. You just don't replace a loved one in a minute. You know what I mean?
It's really quite obvious once you break the case down into its components.
Componencies?
Right. Now follow this, Commissioner. Someone in the kitchen, right?
Okay.
Okay, now this alleged someone hides a gun on one of the dinner cards, and it's sent up to the 9th floor along with the rest of the jurors' dinner orders. In the meantime, the maid has been hiding in Tom Ryan's room all day. Are you with me?
Avidly.
All right. Now, the dinner tray is delivered to the victim's room. The maid takes the gun off the tray, shoots the juror in the back twice, puts the gun back on the tray. The tray is removed, sent back to the kitchen, where an accomplice gets rid of the gun. You find out who was the maid that day, and you've got yourself a killer. What do you think?
Mr. Mordanti, I can see where you've given this case a lot of thought.
Well, Commissioner, after all, this is my hotel. I therefore feel, you know, a special responsibility to help you solve this caper, you know.
I appreciate your concern, Mr. Mordanti, and frankly, I had considered your solution, but I rejected it.
Why? Why?
Well, if it had been the maid, one of the guards would have noticed her leaving the room at some point after the murder. But I like the way your mind works, Mr. Mordanti. Keep it up.
I will, Commissioner, and we'll catch the culprit.
You bet we will.
Listen, why are you up here?
I'm gonna check a window for fingerprints.
From the outside?
Someone might have removed the window, fired the shots, then replaced it.
It's brilliant.
Why, thank you. And now, if you'll excuse us.
Yeah, sure, Commissioner. I'll stay here and I'll keep an eye out for you.
You know, Commissioner, I was a window washer's apprentice once.
Oh, yeah? Well, what's the matter? I thought you said you were a window washer's apprentice once.
Just once, sir. I can't stand the height.
Well, if it makes you dizzy, don't look down.
Yes, sir.
You ready? Ready. Why are you stopped? Here, let me do it. Are you ready?
Commissioner? Yes. There's an open suitcase out in the bed there.
So what?
Well, I feel like a voyeur, sir. I mean...
What if someone were to come into the room, sir, and see us out
Concentrate
here?
on the window and forget what's inside.
Yes, sir.
Give me the gun.
I'm praying, sir.
Give me the gun. Never mind praying.
Commissioner, I have never prayed so hard for anything in my life.
You should reaffirm your faith. Your prayers were answered.
Not exactly, sir.
What did you pray for?
Wings.
Commissioner, are you all right?
More or less.
Hey, I feel awful about what happened.
He feels awful.
Hi, what happened?
Well, someone slugged me in the back of the head, and when I came to, I looked over the edge and I saw the scaffolding all over the courtyard.
Are you guys all right?
We're fine. I don't suppose you got a good look at the guy who slugged you or anything.
No, I didn't see him. I was looking over the edge at you and at you, and suddenly I was out cold.
Well, then it was no accident, sir. We are stepping on a few toes with our little investigation.
Unfortunately, the toes are stepping back.
Mac, were you able to find anything up on the window?
Well, if there was anything, it's destroyed now. We had to break the window to get back into the building.
This hotel is jinxed. People are murdered, attempted killings, dogs dying. I'm telling you, we've got to get out of this place.
Dogs dying? What does that got to do with it?
I was just down in the coffee shop, and the cook was telling me that his dog died of gopher poisoning the same day that Tom Ryan was murdered. Now, isn't that sad?
Sally, Enright and I were almost killed a few minutes ago. That's sad. Let's go.
What kind of a dog was it?
I think I would like to have a drink.
Mildred! Mildred!
Going to the movies.
Oh, are there any phone messages?
Oh, no, let's see.
I'll get your drink.
This is the McMillan domicile. Mildred speaking. No one is home at the present time. If you want to leave a message, please wait for the little beep.
This is Virginia Ryan calling. I'd like to speak to the commissioner at his earliest convenience, please. I can be reached at 555-3124. This is Virginia Ryan calling. I'd like to speak to the... Hello?
Mrs. Ryan, this is Commissioner McMillan.
Commissioner, thank you for returning my call. I just thought that you should know my husband's had another stroke.
I'm sorry to hear that, Mrs. Ryan. How is he?
Well, they've taken him to the hospital, and he's resting comfortably, but at this point, they don't know how serious the damage is or if... Commissioner, I was just thinking that if I could bring him some kind of positive news about your investigation, I think it would help.
Well, I don't want to get your hopes up too high, Mrs. Ryan, but I think we're getting close.
Oh, that is good news.
Mrs. Ryan, I know this isn't the time, but I'd like to ask you a question, if I may. On the night of the murder, when you called the hotel to talk to your stepson,
Who answered the telephone?
I don't know. I suppose it was one of the guards.
Can you remember how you introduced yourself?
I think I said, hello, this is Virginia Rhine. Or I might have said Mrs. Rhine. And then I asked the guard if he would relay a message to Tom Rhine.
You're sure that's how you said it? A message to Tom Rhine?
Yes, I'm sure.
All right. We'll keep in close touch, Mrs. Rhine. And when you see Tom Sr., give him our love.
Yes, I will. And, Commissioner, thank you for everything. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mrs. Rhine.
What was that all about? What happened to Tom Sr.?
He had another stroke.
Oh, God.
You know what's funny?
What's funny?
When I talked to the guard who was on the desk the night of Tom's murder, he said a call came in from Tom's stepmother.
What's so funny about that?
How did he know Virginia Rhine was Tom's stepmother? She never said what her relationship was.
Well, I remember taking the jurors' dinner orders and then phoning it down to the kitchen. And when the dinners came up, I distributed them while Mike kept watching the corner.
Then what?
Well, then after dinner, we collected the trays and sent them back down to the kitchen. And then most of the jurors turned in for the night.
And then you spent some time in Miss Jerome's room.
Well, yes, sir. But only half an hour. She's a writer, and she wanted to interview me in depth.
And after your in-depth interview, what did you do?
Well, then I relieved Mike at the desk, and about 10:30, a call came in from Mr. Rhine's stepmother. And I took the message.
You did it again?
I did what, sir?
How did you know she was Tom Rhine's stepmother?
You see, Jerry, we listened again to the tape of that call, and nowhere on it does Mrs. Rhine refer to herself as anything but Mrs. Rhine.
If you were going to assume she was anything at all, why not his wife? Or his real mother? Why his stepmother?
Well, as you know, Commissioner, during a long trial, the jurors are kept pretty much from any outside contact. And they tend to get pretty chummy with each other and with the guards, just to keep from going bananas. So since we are the only ones they're allowed to talk to, you get to know them pretty well sometimes.
As, say, with Miss Jerome.
Well, you know, sir, the fact is that Tom Rhine was a good guy. And we just sort of struck up a friendship, that's all. I knew all about him and vice versa.
Okay, Jerry, you can go. Thanks for coming in.
You bet.
Well, sir?
Put a tail on him.
Yes, sir. Anything else?
Mm-hmm. I want Tom Rhine's body exhumed.
What for?
So the coroner can do an autopsy.
But he's already done one.
Well, he's going to do another one and keep on doing it until he gets it right.
Another touchdown. This has been a very lopsided game.
Unfortunately, the miners are on the wrong side of the lop.
I'm going down to the locker room and shake a few of those clods up.
Andy, wait 15 or 20 minutes.
Why? So you won't say something that I'll have to apologize for tomorrow. All right. All right. Commissioner, I won't be too long. Why don't you and Sally wait for me and we'll go out for dinner together?
Fine. On us.
Thank you. Buddy, entertain my guests for a while. What a disaster.
Well, every team has an off game.
We're having an off season. Dead last in the standings and no relief inside.
Well, there's a silver lining. The team with the worst one-loss record gets the first draft pick.
That's true. With some of the best college prospects in years graduating, we have a shot at picking up some terrific talent next year.
There you go.
Are you going to go for a running back to replace Luke?
No, he'll be back next season. And I think we're going to surprise a lot of people.
How can you be so sure he'll be back?
Because I have to believe the case against him is too weak. Now, the way I read it, there's at least a reasonable doubt. And that's all it takes for acquittal.
He said he was going to sign with another team.
Well, I suppose I don't have to keep secret the fact that Luke has signed a long-term pact with our team. And I think that next year, with all of our troubles behind us, we could go all the way.
Isn't his change of heart a little sudden? I mean, he went on record as...
Everybody stand here.
Shot at me up there. Why?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Then why are you running?
Well, as I came out of the locker room, I heard the shot. And when I heard your footsteps behind me, I didn't know whether you were the cop, a sniper, or what. And if you were the sniper, I was afraid of getting killed. Look, it's just my gear. You gotta believe me. I know I came on pretty strong with you the other day, but I was just scared, that's all.
Scared of what?
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm fighting for my life on this team. I don't need any trouble with the law.
You're still in trouble with the law. You're not off the hook yet for those 2 murders.
Oh, come on. We've been through this routine already.
But I didn't know that Luke re-signed with the team. Now, where does that leave you?
Re-signed? I don't know what you're talking about.
He signed a new long-term contract.
Well, I didn't know that. When I told you that I thought Luke was quitting the team, I was telling you the God's honest truth.
Commissioner, Mrs. McMillan told me what happened. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
But can I go?
Yeah, but remember, I want to talk to you later. What's up?
It's Jerry the cop, sir, the one we had the tail on.
Yeah.
Well, he disappeared sometime in mid-morning. No one's seen him since.
Well, maybe I found him, or he found me. Maybe he took that shot at me. Let's see if we can find him before he tries again.
Stan?
Well, Commissioner, when you're right, you're right. We blew it with this one.
Nobody's perfect, Sam.
I am, Commissioner. Usually.
Usually perfect? It's like saying slightly pregnant. What did you find?
Well, as you suspected, this guy was poisoned. We didn't find it.
You didn't find it because you didn't look for it.
A man has got 2 bullet holes in his back. It doesn't occur to us to look for poison. How many times do you need to kill a guy?
What kind of poison?
Of all things, Amanita muscaria.
I flunked Latin in high school.
Oh, so did I. It's poison mushroom. Extremely toxic, even in minute amounts. Always fatal.
Slow or fast acting?
Oh, slow. He could have ingested it and gone to bed and died in his sleep. See, this particular poison, it's practically undetectable unless you run very specific tests on it. And as I said, you know, with the 2 bullet wounds in his back...
His dinner was poisoned.
It must have been. How'd you tumble to it?
Scientific deduction, Sam. My wife was talking to a short-order cook in the hotel whose dog was poisoned the same night he was.
You think the killer was the cook?
No, I figured he fed his dog food scraps from the hotel every night, and the poison that killed the dog was probably the poison that killed Tom Ryan.
Excuse me. Yeah. Just a minute. Commissioner, for you.
Thank you. Hello? Yeah, Charlie. He what? Oh, terrific. All right, I'm on my way.
Anyway, Commissioner, if you find the guy who served Tom Ryan his dinner, you found yourself the killer.
Not necessarily. The guy that served Tom Ryan his dinner is in County General. We found him an hour ago in his apartment, shot 3 times in the chest.
Is he gonna pull through?
Chances are dim to none.
Well, I hope he makes it.
Boy, so do I.
Because I am so loaded with bodies now, I can't see straight.
What's the word?
Well, sir, he's alive, but barely. I've got a guard posted.
All right, issue a release to the press in my name saying that we believe we found the man who killed Tom Ryan and that he's been operated on for the removal of several bullets. He's expected to live and provide us with a full statement.
Well, what happens when he doesn't?
Well, by that time, I believe I'll have my man. Get a search warrant for this address and then pick me up at Burton Roner's yacht in the marina.
Yes, sir. Who's Burton Roner?
One of the board of directors.
Andrew Brill is hanging on to the presidency of the miners by his fingernails.
According to him, your board of directors hasn't been able to get rid of him.
True. He got us all going at each other's throats. Before you knew it, any unity there was went down the drain.
And now?
Well, there'd been tremendous sentiment on the board to get him out. And when Luke announced his decision to quit, that really nailed it down. If Luke had been acquitted, Brill would have been out on his own can, since the contract Luke finally signed was conditional on Brill's removal. Of course, now that Luke's future is very much in doubt again, the boards are beginning to waffle.
In other words, if Luke goes back with the team, Brill is through.
Basically, that's it.
Aber jetzt ist niemand zu Hause.
Do you speak English?
Nein, sprechen Sie Deutsch? No zu Hause.
Entschuldigen Sie mir bitte die Störung, meine Dame. Kann ich die Haussuchungsbefehles haben? May I have the search warrant, sir? Aufgrund dieses Haussuchungsbefehles dürfen wir dieses Haus durchsuchen.
In Ordnung, wenn Sie müssen.
Danke.
Bitte.
You two check the front room. Why don't you check in there? I didn't know you spoke German.
Oh, I can manage in 4 or 5 languages, sir. It's a knack I have.
You're a man of hidden talents.
Thank you, sir.
Bitte schön.
Danke schön.
Bitte?
Danke.
And right.
And, oh, what'd you find, sir? You could open that.
Oh, it's a piece of cake, sir. Stand back.
That is amazing. I didn't know you could do that sort of thing.
Well, sir, I have a checkered past.
In 4 or 5 languages. Stand back.
Actually, I used to work for a private detective agency before I joined the force. It's amazing what you can pick up when you work for one of those outfits. What have you found, sir?
Well, the gun that killed Mo Draper.
The housekeeper said that her boss is out at the football stadium.
Let's go.
All right, tomorrow, remember practice at 10 o'clock, just shorts and helmets, all right? Take it on in, let's go.
Carter! Over here, please. I like the way you've been working, Carter.
Hey, what's going on?
Gonna make an arrest, Lewis.
Oh, come on now.
It's not you.
Who is it then?
It was a hell of a good scheme, Stone. You almost got away with it.
Got away with what?
The killing of Mo Draper.
Commissioner, if this is some kind of a joke, it's not very funny.
It's no joke. Luke told you he was quitting the team. There's no way he'd return for another season, so you killed Mo Draper and framed Luke for it.
Now, why would I want to frame my star player?
So you could go to the board of directors and tell them you'd deliver Luke on a long-term contract only if they'd oust Andrew Brill and replace him with you.
Buddy, what is this? I don't know, Andy. It's absurd.
And the board agreed, didn't they? Then you went to your old friend Leon Silver and got him to represent Luke. Then you told Luke you'd absorb the fees only if he'd re-sign with the team.
This is total and irresponsible speculation on your part, Commissioner. You'll never be able to prove any of it.
I'm afraid I can. I made a complete search of your house. I'm sure you'll find this warrant in good order. I found a .22 caliber pistol in your wall safe, registered under the name of Luke Johnson.
You ingrate. You tried to destroy me!
Calm yourself.
What did you expect, Andy? I only did what you would have done under the same circumstances. All right. I killed Mo Draper.
And the juror as well, no doubt.
Are you kidding? Why would I? I had Luke's contract signed, sealed, and delivered. I had your job in my pocket. I wanted Luke acquitted. No, if you're looking for that killer, Commissioner, Andrew Brill here is as good a candidate as any.
Get him out of here, Commissioner. He makes my stomach turn.
Yeah, you knew a mistrial would keep Luke's future in doubt. So with him gone, you could probably hang on to your job,
I can account for every moment of my time the night he was killed. You want to arrest me, be my guest. But you damn well better have a case.
Take Stone in and book him.
Mac, how did Buddy Stone ever get Mo Draper to lie about having an affair with Luke Johnson's wife?
Easy. Probably offered him money or a lucrative no-cut contract.
How? Then when Luke threatened Mo, Stone killed him.
With Luke's gun, which he probably stole from Luke's house somewhere along the line.
Yeah, but if Luke was found guilty, then Stone's whole plan went right down the drain, right?
The case against him was circumstantial, with no murder weapon as evidence. And all a lawyer of Silver's caliber had to do was establish reasonable doubt in the jury's mind.
Which he did with the exception of Tom Ryan.
And Stone would come out of this whole thing a hero. He provides Luke with the best lawyer in the business and guarantees his services to the team for 5 years.
Commissioner, how did you know that Stone kept the gun?
Well, why get rid of it? If he ditched it, it might show up somewhere along the line, and that would convict Luke. And that's the last thing Stone would want.
Well, it's nice to know Luke's off the hook. But if that guard Jerry dies before talking, well, then you're not any closer to solving Tom's murder than you were before, right?
I still say you're both forgetting Andrew Brill.
Well, he had a motive, but he also had an ironclad alibi.
Well, now, if he hired Jerry to do the thing for him, an alibi doesn't have any meaning.
Tell that to the judge.
So, Tom was killed because 11 people voted innocent and 1 person voted guilty. But how could Jerry have ever known that Tom was the only one to vote guilty?
10 voted innocent and 1 guilty.
What?
What did you say?
Well, I never did make up my mind about how I was going to vote, and then they started arguing with Tom, and they never got around to me.
Mildred, how would you have voted?
Oh, Mrs. McMillan, that's between me and my conscience.
Mildred, you're sensational.
Yeah, I know. I was always good with machines.
No, I'm not talking about the dishwasher. You just told me who killed Tom Ryan.
I told you who killed Tom Ryan.
You told me who killed Tom Ryan.
Mildred!
Commissioner, what a nice surprise.
May I come in, Mrs. Ryan?
Oh, please, of course. Oh, I hope you got some Good news for me. Got to go to the hospital soon to see Thomas, and I just know that it would cheer him up if I could tell him, well, that you've broken the case.
I have.
Really? That's wonderful. Who killed my stepson?
Jerry, one of the guards, by poison.
Frightening. Please, won't you sit down?
Thank you.
Do you know why he did it?
No, I don't know why. Maybe money, maybe it was a lot of things. But I do know who put him up to it, Mrs. Ryan. You.
Why on earth would I kill my own stepson?
Money.
Oh, Commissioner. I signed a premarital agreement with Thomas before we were married. If he dies, I get nothing.
You do if there's no one left to inherit the money. Kill Tom Jr., you win by default. You know that killing him during the jury's deliberations would immediately throw suspicion on those involved in the trial, especially when you arranged to have my housekeeper attacked first.
I have never heard anything so bizarre. Now, you know that I was at home the night Tom was killed. You even got a phone call on tape to prove it.
Jerry was quite a ladies' man. It wasn't too difficult to seduce him, was it? What did you promise him? Was it money? Marriage?
You can't prove any of that.
You know I wouldn't have come if I didn't have proof. Jerry told me the whole story.
He couldn't have.
Would you like to come to the hospital with me and see? You're very good at using people, Mrs. Ryan, getting them to do what you want. But you made one mistake. When you tried to kill Jerry, you blew it.
Commissioner, you know what I wish? I wish that you had stayed out of it.
Is that the gun you used when you tried to kill him?
It's the gun I'm going to use to kill you.
Be my guest. But you won't get 10 feet away. You know the police are already on their way. It's over, Mrs. Ryan. And besides, I don't think you've got another murder left in you.
How did you figure it out?
That first phone call, it wasn't just that Jerry knew you were Tom's stepmother. He had an explanation for that. You told Jerry over the phone that Tom Sr. was gravely ill, and you wanted to let Tom know. Jerry said he'd tell him right away. But you said you wanted to talk to Tom, and that always bothered me. Because you both hung up after the message. And I kept asking myself why. Unless you both knew he was already dead. Sergeant Enright, send a unit over to the Ryan residence.
You know, Mac, the thing that I can't figure out is how the actual murder itself was committed.
Figuring that out was the easy part. Once I found out the cause of death was poison. Jerry sprinkled the poisoned mushrooms over Tom's dinner just before giving it to him, knowing that Tom would be dead in 2 hours at the most. After Virginia's call came in, Jerry broke down Tom's door.
He's been shot.
Then told Mike to call the police. Then Jerry put a silencer on the gun, fired 2 shots into the body, re-hid the gun, and exited the room. By the time the police came and examined the body, they had no reason to doubt Mike, who, on Jerry's orders, had called to report a shooting.
My goodness. You know, it's amazing that a woman as clever and cool as Virginia would confess to a murder, where if she had only kept quiet, she would have found out that Jerry died before he ever regained consciousness.
It's my honest face. Women always believe what I tell them.
Oh, is that it? Oh, well, I'm going to remember that the next time that you tell me you're working with the mayor until midnight.
I did.
Yeah, hello. Oh, hi, Mr. Mordanti.
Not home, not home.
Oh, I'm sorry, the commissioner is not home, not home. Oh, thank you, Nina. Yeah.
Nina?
Well, as a matter of fact, they're all tough. But when you've been at it as long as we have, you sort of develop an instinct for the truth. Dinner? Yeah, I'd love it. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. Thank you.